Hello and good morning. Boy, do we have a show for you. On this week's Center of It All, we dive into Penn State's newest edition on campus, visit the Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition's 20th anniversary celebration, and Mel introduces us to a neat way to make breakfast. Hi, thanks for joining us today for the Center of It All. I'm your host, Alex Rabb. Are you in the market for a new car? Well, good news. Our Andrew Callista visited an insurance agent and a local dealership to get the skinny on what to look out for in the auto world this spring.
Hey Alex, spring is finally here, and that means the summer driving season is right around the corner. After a tough winter, you might be in the market for a new car. Here's what you need to know to get those new wheels on the road. To find out what makes the spring such a great time to buy, I spoke to Casey Flynn, sales manager over at Lion Country Kia.
Traditionally in the spring, you were kind of phasing out last year's models before the new ones came in. Now it seems the new ones are already here, so you get the overlap of any leftovers got to go, and then all the new stuff they want to kind of get off on the right foot, so they'll start incentivizing those cars right from the get-go. So you kind of get a good mix of everything. If you want to save a little money on a last year's model, or if you really want to get into the newest, latest, and greatest, certainly early in the year.
With the model year ending and tax rebates already in the mail, it's a perfect storm for dealers and consumers. Casey also told me that a lot of people are looking down the road, and that's a big key. Buying what you actually need, whether it be passenger space, hauling, or cargo room. And yes, of course, gas mileage.
Typically in the spring, you know exactly, with the vacations and stuff coming up, you do see a lot of minivan, family vehicles, 7-passenger SUV, people thinking about that trip to Florida or going somewhere with their family. They're going to need a car with a lot of cargo space. Gas mileage starts coming back into play. Typically gas prices start rising early in the spring and continue through the summer. So, you know, people driving around that 5-10-year-old car only getting mid-teens as far as gas mileage. You know, most newer vehicles are well into the 20s and 30s, if not 40s. So as gas prices climb higher, certainly you want a car with a little bit better gas mileage.
While you're always excited about buying a new car, it's important to understand what the total cost to own is for that specific vehicle. And for that, you need your insurance agent.
The cost of insurance in some circumstances may be more than what they're having to pay for the vehicle. So it is prudent to go and contact an insurance professional to be able to get a good idea of what it's going to cost before you actually go and take ownership of that vehicle and maybe stuck with something that you find is much more costly to maintain, including that insurance, than what you initially anticipated.
Gene Weller, a State College Allstate agent, told me just because you buy a small car doesn't mean small premiums. In fact, it could be just the opposite.
A lot of folks are not aware of is that when we're looking at collision and comprehensive to cover the actual damage to the vehicle, a particular vehicle may cost significantly more than another one, and it's not based totally on what the value of that vehicle is. We have found many cases where a smaller vehicle is actually more costly to insure than is a relatively larger vehicle.
Weller recommends if you're in the market for a new car right now, do your research and narrow down your choices. Then head on into your agent's office with that list.
I would probably suggest that we put together a quote looking at your own personal situation, home ownership or not, that insurance score, see what we're looking at, and then maybe play around with some cars that you might be looking for to at least get an idea as to what direction affordability is there.
Remember, you're the buyer. It's your decision. Set a limit and stick to it. And times have changed as well, so horror stories from grandma shouldn't keep you away from the dealership.
You know, when people come in now, they're very informed, they're very smart about their purchase, so especially here, we're trying to get past the 1970s, 1980s car shopping mindsets. We're just kind of here to help you guide through in your purchase more than try to sell you something.
So the bottom line is, if you want to feel great about your new car purchase, do your homework and be prepared.
Thanks, Andrew. We must hit to the commercials, but stay tuned. We take a trip to Harrisburg for a special event when we return. Welcome back. The Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition celebrated a very special day over at the Capitol. I went to see what it was about.
Do you see all of these women?
each and every one of them are breast cancer survivors. In fact, these 32 women on the steps of the Capitol are representing the number of women across Pennsylvania who will be diagnosed with breast cancer today. Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths in Pennsylvania in women between the ages of 25 and 54. Thankfully, almost all cases of breast cancer can be treated successfully if found early. Breast cancer continues to be the most commonly diagnosed cancer in women in the United States, regardless of race or ethnicity. Gender isn't discriminated against either. Luckily, we have the Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition to turn to for help and support. The PBCC is a statewide nonprofit organization that creates the hope of a brighter tomorrow through education, legislative advocacy, and breast cancer research grants. It's the only coalition in the state to be completely devoted to breast cancer. So why is that? Well, President and founder Pat Halpin Murphy was diagnosed in 1988 with stage 3 breast cancer. She's a long-term survivor and determined to make life easier for those diagnosed and to get more research out to find a cure.
It's much easier to be healthy and recover. It's difficult enough being diagnosed without having to hide it. So our goal was to have this wonderful photo exhibit with at least one woman from each county in Pennsylvania who stood up and said, I've been diagnosed with breast cancer and I'm a survivor. And then they tell their story. And we take it all over the state. And we thought that, oh, we'd do that for a year or so and it would be over. But we still have communities lined up throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania waiting for this wonderful photo exhibit to come to their town.
Did I forget to mention that it's also the PBCC's 20th anniversary? That's why this special event took place at the Capitol Rotunda in Harrisburg.
It's so exciting. You know, our goal, of course, is to help find a cure for breast cancer now so that our daughters don't have to. But in the meantime, what we do is support the survivors and their families. And this is one of the ways we do it and get out the message that we need to increase research for this deadly disease.
It's a beautiful day here at the Capitol for such an amazing event. And ironically enough, the world is so small, I even ran into a woman from Center County who is also a breast cancer survivor.
Well, what I have been helped by is the ability to go out and speak with other women. When I went through my treatment, I did not know about the Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition. But since being diagnosed, I know a lot about it now, and it's my honor and privilege to be able to tell other women about the great causes that we have here and about the great benefits of the Breast Cancer Coalition.
Things like advocates for women one-on-one, educational seminars, and award-winning programs.
You know, we're very fortunate in Pennsylvania, thanks to the Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition and the legislators and governors that we worked with, that there's free treatment for breast cancer in Pennsylvania. And that's an indication of the kinds of things that the coalition has been working on. Also, we raise money for cancer research, breast cancer research, and every single penny of it goes directly to researchers right here in Pennsylvania.
Honestly, I bet you've never met a group of people working so hard to put themselves out of business. For more information or to check out the Coalition's events happening around your area, check out pabreastcancer.org. Well, stick around as we have to take a break, but when we return, we'll dive into some happenings around Penn State. Welcome back to the center of it all. Penn State's one-team momentum, along with an understanding of what to expect this year, were the building blocks on this year's Coach's Caravan. Andrew Callista met up with the group.
Penn State's Coach's Caravan has wrapped up its 12-stop Mid-Atlantic tour, but before it ended, I had a chance to speak with Coach O'Brien and Coach Chambers about the road trip.
Well, it's just great to get out and see all the people that support us, the alums, the fans, and you know, especially within that 400-mile driving distance. To me, that's very important. I get a bunch of emails and phone calls from people, letters all the time, so it's our chance to give back and to talk about our programs with all of those people.
Does it bring back any memories of college road trips?
We didn't have buses. It was a Toyota Tercel in college on the way to Florida for spring break. But no, it's great to be with these people on a bus and all the Penn State Athletic Department people, and obviously Pat Chambers and the other coaches that'll be joining us.
So when you guys are together on the bus, who's the boss between you and Pat?
Chambers. We're in Philly. We're going to Philly. Chambers runs a show in Philly. I'm from Boston. I don't know anything about Philly.
So if Coach Chambers is the boss, can he make this trip a little crazy?
You know what, I did see that movie, that road trip movie, which is pretty funny. I don't know if we're going to get that crazy, but it would be a lot of fun to do that.
So you're not going to be like ramping this off like over creeks or anything like that?
No, but you know what? Knowing OB wouldn't be a bad idea.
Do you feel like a rock star a little bit driving around on a tour bus?
You know what, I don't know what it is to feel like a rock star, but I see them behind the BJC all the time, and they got these souped up, you know, buses, and they're always hanging out the windows and stuff, so, I mean, it gives us a little glimpse into their lives.
And Coach loves the personal touch these trips offer.
I love it because you get a connection, you build a relationship with the fans, and instead of staying home on their beautiful flat screen TVs and the HD, they're more, you know, willing to come out because they have a relationship with you.
So how about Coach O'Brien? Feeling like a rock star? Just a little bit?
No, I don't feel like a rock star. I'm a football coach, and I'm just enjoying driving around with the other coaches.
So there's no rock stars on the bus. Got it. But Coach Chambers and O'Brien are both pretty chill. And speaking of chill, let's head on over to Pagula to meet with Joe Batista to give us an update on how construction's going.
So the outside of the building is just about complete. We've got just a few minor things going on, and then it's going to be all about the landscaping, which is going to be phenomenal. When you walk inside those doors, it really looks like an arena now. All the seats are in, the suites are just about finished. All they've got to do now is paint, put some carpet down, and before you know it, we'll have furniture in there.
The 200,000 square foot arena is currently on time and is really taking shape. One of the first things you notice upon entering is the super steep concrete student section, which is the steepest allowed by code, and it feels like you are literally sitting right in the crease, and that is exactly what Pagula wanted.
The student section continues to just, every time you walk in there, it just, you imagine it filled with Penn State students and how loud it's going to be, and it goes back to Terry Pagula's initial charge to us, which was, we want to make sure this is the rockinest, loudest college hockey arena in America.
To be the rockinest, loudest venue in college hockey, it takes more than just 1,000 students. You need great hockey, and you need to have a base of rabid fans.
There's 6,000 permanent seats in the facility, and 1,050 of those, which by the way is the exact number of seats that we had in Greenberg Ice Rink, that's just the student section in Pagula Ice Arena. So those 1,050 seats won't go on sale until September. In the meantime, we're taking deposits by calling 1-800-NITNY, and of the 5,000 seats that are available for sale, we're over 3,000 that have deposits down on them. So that's pretty good for our first year. Our goal is to get to 4,000 and then leave 1,000 seats available for general sale for every game.
And Batista knows that hockey will be a new venture to those in the center region. So when you do come to a game, you'll be taking Hockey 101.
So when you walk into Pagula Ice Arena, pretty much the minute you walk in, you're going to get educated about the game of hockey. So everything in there is branded. So the concession stands are called Power Play, Hat Trick, Grinder, Zamboni, so that you're going to learn as you're waiting in line what those have to do with the game of hockey and ice skating. And then as you go into each of the entranceways off the concourse, even though it may say section 105, it may say, you know, neutral zone. And as you walk through that entrance, you're standing in the neutral zone, which is the area between the two blue lines at center ice. You might be down by the goal line, and there would be that. You might be down right behind the net, and that one could be called Great Save, and there'll be pictures of that, some part of the game taking place, again, to help educate people about the game of hockey.
The arena is set to open October 11th against Army, and an ice show featuring Chris Yamaguchi is set for November 3rd. The region will also be able to take advantage of the community rink, which will be open 360 days a year to host youth events and have a seating of up to 300 people. For the center of it all, I'm Andrew Callista.
Thanks, Andrew. I personally can't wait to check out the arena once it opens. Well, it's time to take another break. Stick around, though, for new kitchen encounters when we return. Hi, thanks for joining us as we start to wrap up the center of it all. But it's not over yet as we save the best for last. On this week's Kitchen Encounters, our resident foodie Mel Prosciutti came up with a unique but ever so yummy breakfast dish.
I cook breakfast almost every day. perking some coffee, toasting some bread, scrambling some eggs. It isn't hard to do if you're cooking for two. But if you've got a big family or overnight guests, easy can turn into chaos really fast. Today, I'm taking all the stress out of making breakfast for a crowd. I'm going to show you how to bake eggs and make a sausage, egg, and cheese casserole that feeds 12 people. Preheat your ovens and let's get started. This is probably my favorite feed a crowd breakfast casserole. It literally goes together in less than 5 minutes, and once you put it together, you can put it in the refrigerator the night before you're going to bake it. I'm starting with a 9 by 13 inch casserole, and I recommend using glass so that you can monitor how brown it gets, because bread bottom casseroles can overbrown really quickly. I've chopped up a 12-ounce package of English muffins into 1/2 to 3/4 inch bread cubes. And I'm going to drizzle it slowly, sorry about that, with 1 stick of melted butter. And we're going to top this with 4 cups or 8 ounces of cheddar cheese. And I like to use finely grated cheddar if you can find it in your grocery store. And next it's going to get topped with 1.5 pounds of pre-cooked sausage. You can use loose sausage that's chopped up with the side of a spoon, but I like to use these 3-ounce sausage patties so that when the casserole is sliced and portioned, everybody gets an entire sausage patty in their piece. And once again, more cheese, another 4 cups or 8 ounces. And here's an optional step, but if you like a little heat to your casserole, I've drained a little 5-ounce can of jalapeno peppers, and I'm just going to sprinkle them all over the top. You can skip it if you don't want them. Get them evenly spread, as evenly as possible. I've whisked 1 dozen of large eggs together, and I'm going to stir in 2 cups of whole milk, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, ground nutmeg, and salt. Whisk it all together. This will only take about 10 seconds. And last, I'm going to slowly drizzle this mixture evenly over the top of the entire casserole. And I mean slowly, so that you give the liquid all the time it needs to drizzle down to the bottom and into the nooks and crannies of those English muffins. Almost finished. And at this point, you can bake the casserole in a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes, or you can cover it with plastic wrap and set it aside for an hour or 2 before you bake it, or put it in the refrigerator overnight before you bake it. You've seen me roast bacon in the oven more times than you can probably even count. In a disposable aluminum pan at 375 degrees in the oven, for 20 to 25 minutes you get some really crisp bacon. What you're going to need for bacon and egg cups is partially cooked bacon. And that means you're just going to take it out of the oven a little sooner. About 15 minutes in the oven is all it's going to take to make your bacon really pliable and bendable. And all I'm going to do is line the perimeter of each muffin cup with one strip of partially cooked bacon. Wipe my hands a little bit. And into each cup, I'm going to crack one egg. And I recommend cracking the egg carefully into a 1 cup measuring container and slowly adding it to the center. That really prevents your yolks from breaking open. I'm just making 6 of these today. And I'm using jumbo eggs for this. You can use smaller sized eggs, but I've experimented with this recipe. And jumbo eggs fill the standard size muffin tins almost to the brim, and they cook up perfectly every time. Three. Two more. All I'm going to do is give them a quick grind of sea salt, peppercorn blend, put them in a 375-degree oven for about 10 minutes, and we're going to have perfectly cooked bacon and egg cups. Breakfast for 12 people with no stress, no chaos, almost no cleanup. I'll drink to that. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website.
Remember, if you make this or any of Mel's recipes, upload pictures to our Facebook page and share your story. And while you're online, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and YouTube. But that's that. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.